Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Everything you've ever wanted or needed to know about the New Jersey Hall of Fame, the gentleman on camera will tell you about it. He is Steve Edwards, president of the Foundation for the New Jersey Hall of Fame Board of Trustees. Steve, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Stephen. Mr. New Jersey you are, I'd like to think.
Well, at least in my own family, I might be. I'm not sure. Hey, listen, Steve, let's do this. We're going to be talking about Yogi and Bruce Springsteen and Nicholson, Jack Nicholson in just a minute. But give people the context, because on the 27th of October 2022 at NJPAC, it's the 14th annual. Real quick, 30 seconds. How did it start?
It started back in 2008 was our first annual induction ceremony, and we started the Hall of Fame a few years before that. But the idea that all the organizers that got together and launched the Hall of Fame thought it would be a great idea to celebrate our great state, to honor our legends, and to inspire the next generation and adults of all ages, for that matter. Our role models are very inspirational people from all walks of life. And if there's any one thing that I'm most passionate about, and I know a lot of the other organizers, it's about inspiring people and helping people to find their purpose in life, because happiness comes from fulfillment comes from purpose. And that's one of the best things about the Hall of Fame and our inductees.
And by the way, I'm going to name some people other than Yogi Berra. You're going to see some pictures in post-production. Yogi Berra, Bruce Springsteen, Jack Nicholson. And how about some of these? We're going to be doing the series called Remember Them, Gone But Not Forgotten. And here's some people we should never forget. James Gandolfini. James
Gandolfini, yes. Listen, he was inducted several years ago, and people think of him as Tony Soprano, but the fact is that he was James Gandolfini. I happened to go to college with him, as a matter of fact. Back at Rutgers. He was a bartender back then, and I remember him quite clearly. But, you know, James reached the pinnacle of the acting profession, and that's why we inducted him. We didn't induct Tony Soprano, and he was one of the best.
And how about this? Give me real quick. Larry Doby. I live in Montclair. Larry Doby from Montclair. I believe he was the first African-American to play in the American League with the Cleveland Indians. Gone. You can't forget him, right, Steve?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, we're naming the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, along with the governor and first lady, are naming a service area after him up in North Jersey on the Garden State Parkway. Larry Doby, it's forgotten, but you know, Jackie Robinson, of course, was the first African-American baseball player, but Larry came in right behind him, and it was every bit of a dramatic story that sometimes gets drowned out because Jackie made such a incredible impression. But we don't forget Larry Doby.
Hey, Steve, real quick, you mentioned the Turnpike situation. New Jersey Turnpike Authority renaming of 9 service areas on the Garden State Parkway, iconic New Jersey figures. And one of them is Whitney Houston, who's at the Vauxhall one, right? As you talk about Whitney Houston, we'll show us some pictures of her as well. Why Whitney Houston?
Whitney Houston, like all of the New Jersey Hall of Fame inductees, reached the pinnacle of their profession. I don't have to tell your viewers, Whitney Houston was perhaps the greatest female singer, vocalist of all time. And Whitney's roots were right here in New Jersey. She wound up living here in Jersey after she made it as big as she made it. And we want to send a message to others that want to reach the pinnacle of the music industry, that, you know, it starts like it started for Whitney in a church in East Orange, Newark area. And she rose right to the heights of that industry. So anyone can do it.
And real quick, Ocean View is Toni Morrison, that service area. How about Frank Sinatra, Atlantic? Give me 30 seconds on Sinatra. Hoboken, right?
Frank Sinatra, hailed, of course, from Hoboken. The chairman of the board, he happens to be one of my favorites. His voice is for the ages. As Pete Hamill once said, as long as people have ears and can listen, Sinatra will matter. And I think he's very deserving of that service area.
Talk about the Learning Center. We're going to show some video of it. What is the Learning Center?
So the New Jersey Hall of Fame at American Dream Entertainment and Learning Center. We're going to be breaking ground this spring in the April timeframe. We'll be cutting the ribbon later this fall. It's going to be a 10,000 square foot, state-of-the-art, immersive, very interactive entertainment center. And I think, I hope and trust it'll become a symbol of pride for all New Jerseyans and a place that's going to inspire a lot of people as well.
There's also a healthcare initiative, what is that one?
Well, Hackensack Meridian is our lead sponsor, and we're very proud of that fact. Hackensack, Barnabas, all of the hospital chains, we should be so proud of what they've done over the last few years during this very difficult pandemic. They have been on the front line, in some cases, men and women giving up their lives to help save people. And the fact is, Hackensack is our lead sponsor. We're very proud of that. And with like all of our sponsors, I think that the common denominator is that we're all proud of New Jersey's past, but we also believe in its future.
And by the way, you're talking about the Hall of Fame healthcare resources that you were talking about, and HMH is also a supporter of what we do as well. Hey, real quick, Steve, in a few seconds we have left. Why? Give me something on Yogi Berra, Bruce Springsteen, and Jack Nicholson, because you told our producers those are the three you wanted to talk about. Why Yogi?
Well, Yogi was so down to earth. I was struck by how humble he was, and that's not to say others weren't, but he just had a very down to earth, humble streak to him that I was very, very struck by. And he told me a funny story, by the way, backstage, that he used to drive Phil Rizzuto crazy. They used to room together, and he would keep the TV on till like 3 a.m, and Rizzuto could never get any sleep. And he used to yell at Yogi. But I thought that was a funny story. Bruce Springsteen happens to be one of my favorites. I'm a fan of his. It was just great to be in his presence and to see him there helping validate our very first induction ceremony.
A few seconds on Nicholson. I got to go. Give me a few seconds on Nicholson.
Nicholson also very humble. He was, yes, sir, no, sir, where do you want me to stand? And I'm thinking to myself, this is Jack Nicholson. He's taking orders from me. Something's wrong. The world's officially upside down.
Jack Nicholson, Yogi Berra, Bruce Springsteen. I'll give you some of the other names. I got to get out of here. But Celia Cruz, Whitney Houston, Larry Doby, Gandolfini, Sinatra, Toni Morrison, Celia Cruz. Great stuff. Hey, Steve, listen, I look forward to future conversations with you, collaborating with you on our series called Remember Them, Gone But Not Forgotten, because we cannot forget New Jerseyans. Hey, listen, I'm 5 blocks away from the Edison, you know? He mattered. A lot of them matter. Great stuff, Steve. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for the opportunity.
You got it. Stay with us. We're right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Hackensack Meridian Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the New Jersey Education Association, PNC, Grow Up Great, PSE&G, NJM Insurance Group, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, and by Fedway Associates, Inc. Promotional support provided by NJ.com and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
Many of New Jersey's children have been affected by COVID-19, but now that there's a safe and effective vaccine available for children ages 12 and older, you can help make COVID-19 history by getting yourself and your child vaccinated. Let's end this pandemic together and help all children get back to being kids. Visit hackensackmeridianhealth.org/COVID-19 to learn more or to schedule a vaccine appointment today.